This week on the Off the Record DJ podcast, I sit down with Elijah, DJ, writer, lecturer, artist manager, and collaborator on the new OMNIS-DUO with AlphaTheta, to talk about how the DJ industry works in 2026 and beyond, and who even counts as a DJ anymore.
If I met someone today and they said they were a DJ, I would think this is as vague as saying you're a writer.
We unpack the rise of the multi-hyphenate creatives and why he's challenging the rules of the music industry.
There's certain things I could post that I know that I could break the form or algorithm if I wanted to.
From yellow squares to viral quotes and international talks, Elijah's work is both thought-provoking and practical.
When you are represented by an agent, you fully become a product.
We explore how modern DJs build audiences, break out of the bubble, and stay independent in a hyper-commercial world. Sit back and enjoy this conversation with Elijah on the Off the Record DJ podcast. Elijah, hi mate.
Hey, nice to be here.
I met you briefly in IMS, but one thing I was thinking was there's not many, actually there's only one brand I can think of that has done a collaboration with a big brand like AlphaTheta, formerly Pioneer DJ, and you're basically the only one. So that's cool. How the hell did we get here? So first of all, you've got this controller, which is a collaboration with AlphaTheta, the OMNIS-DUO. How does that come about? Because, like I say, the only brand I know is Off-White, who've worked with Pioneer DJ before.
Yep.
So it's quite a cool thing.
100%. And yeah, that's part of the inspiration for sure. Virgil Abloh is a massive inspiration. Yeah. Was in his time of activity and continues to be. He did so much work. I watched a tour of his exhibition actually in Paris, and it's 3 hours long on YouTube, and it's just the amount of material and ideas. It makes me think, I need to go harder. Yeah, I mean, but in terms of DJing and I guess my philosophy behind it and writing around it, it's taken a long time to dig my heels in with it. And if I gave up on it maybe in 2021 when I first started talking about DJing in a more expansive way, or the idea of a DJ in a more expansive way than historically has been written and spoken about, then it would have just been like dust in the wind. But because I think I kept going with it, kept developing, and as I got more questions and pushed back on the ideas, I was able to refine it, get my points down to maybe 3 or 4 things that everyone can understand, less and less people disagree with, and it becomes more, I guess, interesting. And then having an embodied version of that writing is the next step. And then once the OMNIS-DUO is out there in the world and people are playing with it and DJing with it outside and inside or whatever they're going to do with it, then that creates another body of material to kind of talk about and do stuff with. Yeah.
I think I first became aware of your work through obviously the Yellow Squares project made on Instagram. But the post that resonated with me first of all I saw was this one, which I'll try and hold up to the mic, the camera, which is this one, which is, I've been a DJ for all my adult life, and to be able to stick around in this industry, you've got to have a lot of assets to your book, to your your toolkit. You started DJing, you've been in the game quite a while. Is that something you found throughout the way to be able to, DJing is a creative outlet, and with that creative outlet, do you think it's easier for people who are DJs to move into different areas of creativity and expression because it is a creative role? How have you found that process?
Yeah, I came into DJing obviously through as a listener first, I was already going raving and listening to pirate radio my whole life. So I was already tuned to it, whereas so that bit wasn't hard for me because I just listened to DJs my entire life. Then when I came into doing it myself, it was through grime. So there was more okay, what can I contribute that's new and interesting here? Because the pattern of how it was done still wasn't established yet. There was ways to do it clearly from people that already were going before me, Logan Salma, Spyro, Slimzy, all these people. But there was still all this space to do new things. So to me, the form of what a DJ even is in that space, who was setting the rules? No one really. And a lot of the infrastructure around that scene didn't exist as well. So it's if you wanted to do a rave, you had to do it yourself. You wanted to buy a record, you had to buy it yourself. If you wanted to go and do merch. Like I had to go and do it myself, or go and work with another company to get it done. So it wasn't as simple as maybe today, where you just plug into maybe artist services, upload your stuff on like TuneCore or something. It wasn't really like that. It was very like DIY, very mechanical, physical. I was going to music house, taking the music there, getting it cut, taking that, you know, going to a vinyl factory. All these things. It's very like, okay, you start getting very hands-on with like how things are made and production and everything. So, and I think that just affects the way you play and think about music.
Was that just a fun experience for you? Was it always just like forward motion? This is something you kind of just wanted to do forever? Did you see, because you had Butters was your label, right?
Yeah.
And you started DJing around that time, and Lord, how was you DJing before?
Yeah, I was DJing before, but
yeah,
again, I was at university, so it wasn't like something that I was, you know, doing every day or actively pursuing. But I think I started really DJing maybe 2005 properly, and then I started a blog in 2007, and that was like the public version of me. Like, okay, I'm writing and mixing, and that combination of the two things. Before, it was like if you were like a blogger or a music journalist, you were on that side, and the artists were on this side. Where I was trying to like merge the two things at that time, which wasn't as common as you see now. Like people are like very multimedia, multidisciplinary, whereas at the time, like that was like rare. It was like pick a side. It was like, do you want to be like Graham Daly or Jamal Edwards or like that kind of thing, or do you want to be an artist? Like, and I was like kind of, and then I just swayed more to being on the artist side, or with the artists, and you know, getting involved in production and stuff. But yeah, like that's kind of the roots.
Yeah, you mentioned then about like, you know, what even like is a DJ. So we was out in ADE a couple of weeks ago. I was doing a talk, and my sort of whole talk was around, you know, what is a DJ in 2026? There's so many blurred lines. Yeah. And opportunity's never been bigger. Like you can, like, you know, yourself who have different creative outlets still within the DJ industry. There's people making money from doing Twitch streams. There's people doing brand deals and never stepped in a club before.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that can only evolve? Like, it's out of the box now, isn't it? And is that a good thing where you're not defined by turning up to a club and plugging in a USB for you to be called a DJ, or do you think you still need to have some sort of roots in that?
I think that's better in terms of opening up the possibilities of it.
Yeah.
But like if I met someone today and they said they were a DJ, I would think this is as vague as saying you're a writer. Okay, and this is good because it shows you how expansive that form is. Whereas before, maybe 20 years ago, if someone said they were a DJ, I'd be like, well, do you play weddings or clubs?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, okay, you're either playing, you know, maybe specific things for money for people, like, you know, it's very spec. It's like weddings, you're going to play the wedding bangers.
Yeah.
Or if you play a certain kind of club, you play house music or hip hop or whatever it's going to be for a particular time, you know what the agenda is.
You used to have a house room, you used to have a hip hop room.
Exactly.
It was black and white.
Exactly. Whereas today, if someone said they were a DJ to me, I'd be like, oh, okay, like, what, do you make records? Like, oh, do you put stuff out? Like, what do you put on parties? Or are you collecting Turkish jazz from the 70s? Like, what? It's so vague. And I think that's like again, it's a good platform to explore these things in interesting ways. So yeah, what is a DJ today? It's an open platform to do what you want. I'm like less interested in the industry of things. It's more like the platform of things, you know? Like what the idea set is. Okay. The same way maybe fitness has become like a thing. I see like DJing in that sphere. You know what I'm saying? So if there's like run clubs, you don't expect those people to be athletes. Yeah. The same way when I think about DJing in this broad way, I don't think, okay, most of them are going to become people that are headlining Tomorrowland. Of course, there's going to be these anomalies that end up doing that. But that's like one rigid metric that I'm just like not that interested in.
You go on and do sort of a lot of lectures and a lot of talks around the wider ideas of DJing and music industry in general. Yeah. Do you think it's important for people to, because there's so many avenues, do you think it's important for people to get specific on their goals? Because I find a lot of people maybe just go down the route of what they think a DJ is, like quote unquote. And I always think that when I've spoke to people, it's like, do you want to be like in the DJ industry like forever, or are you trying to achieve like a thing? Yeah. Because I think a lot of times you can miss you can miss a lot of things on the journey by trying to achieve something that you're not really interested in anyway. I think, you know, I met you out in IMS, and there's so many people who spoke on stage who maybe started and wanted to be a DJ, but now are like VP of sales at Beatport, or but they're still in it and still they found a love for it. Do you think it's important for people to really like clarify what they want to do first before they just sort of blindly go down a path, or do you think that the discovery is quite part of the joy as well?
Yeah, I think the discovery is easier, just doing stuff and then figuring it out as you go. Like when I came in, I didn't have any. I mean, there's upsides and downsides to this, but I didn't have any DJ dreams or anything like this. Like the only, I guess the limit to mine was like playing on Rinse and playing at this club Night Forward, Plastic People. That was it. I didn't think about festivals or anything beyond that. I didn't really know what those things were, and I didn't care. That wasn't my vessel for music, and I didn't have like some ambition of being like some sort of star or anything, or public facing person. That wasn't my thinking. It was like maybe like my role in the scene that I was in was like trying to provide a kind of like a service for the music and musicians and the scene that I was in. I didn't see it as like me centering myself and being like a star.
Yeah, I was similar. So I never really had like, I'm trying to be this or this. All I knew that at the time I was just enjoying it, and I was just trying to like keep forward motion and just kind of like lean into like the next thing.
Yeah, like today is a lot more information about things as well, so people can just like in ChatGPT all the answers to a lot of basic questions that people had to figure out before back in the day. And the reason why I'd say to people just like go down some sort of path is because a lot of the things that have been explored, like if you're trying to break through in that thing, those areas are so congested. So it's like you doing something different or more that's like instinctive to you. You might find something like really original. And you know, a lot of the writing I put out, people frame it as advice, but it's like I'm not giving advice. I'm trying to give you a spark to make you think for yourself. Like, and these things, like, you know, I've tried to make it like broadly applicable and apply it anywhere, even if you're like here in Leeds or in London or in like another town or city in another country. So it's not like if you are like, you know, able to be a full-time artist and live in a big city, then do these things like that. That's just redundant. And those things change every year. Like breakthrough talent comes through different ways every single year. So yeah, maybe there's some underlying principles, but again, you could just GPT that.
You can. Yeah, it resonates with me because, like I mentioned, I was doing a talk last week, and we ask, one of the biggest challenges for DJs is to come in, to learn how to mix, and maybe they've got a few gigs, and it's to take their career to like the next level. A lot of them struggle with social media because most DJs I've actually met are quite introvert, and becoming a DJ is part of this thing inside you. Most people give themselves aliases so they can lean into this person that is within them. And I've sort of lent away from sort of giving people like content tips, or like, you know, use this hook or, you know, this trend or whatever. And I've sort of steered more towards looking at the top maybe 1% and what is it that is repeatable. And I think it's the like personality, and there's like different archetypes of personality. You got people who are storytellers, like maybe yourself. You got people who are like entertainers, hilarious, like Fisher, or somebody who just like mental. You got people who like give value, will show you like how they create a mix or behind the scenes.
Yep.
And I think that sort of personality, it will never change with trends or social media or however marketing is delivered in 2026.
True.
Is that something you resonate with as well?
Yeah, and a lot of the time with social media, like one of the squares is like social media is a canvas, not an advertising board, so use it in the most artistic way possible. So if someone was peering in to just have a look at what you do or you think you do, then it's like having a good kind of shop front, or a good like, just see this like maybe like an exhibition of what you do, rather than just being like, you know, heavy on a promotion or heavy with like goofy trends and stuff. It's like, is that the best representation of your work? You might actually have like lower engagement, but actually presenting yourself how you want to be seen over the long term is probably just better. Because from doing like things that you don't really agree with or don't find interesting, you might get opportunities that you actually don't want to. So there's things that I could have done to like juice the ideas and numbers and get reactions out of people, but I actually don't want the opportunities and the headache that comes with it too. So I take the downside of having like less people engage with my work, but then the upside of the people that engage with it having like a kind of stronger resonance. So like the obviously that is very different at different scales, but I'm very like aware of how different, say, I could post something, it's a banger, gets whatever, and some amount of likes that is high or shares that is high, but actually doesn't bring me any joy or revenue. Or,
you feel like you can do that at the drop of a hat if you want to get some clicks, you know?
Yeah, like, there's certain things I could post that I know that I could break the form or algorithm if I wanted to.
Yeah,
I
think this is a great square for this.
So anti-algorithm in my bank. So that was the first line in response. Like, so my friend DJ Jubilee, she encouraged me to post these ideas on Instagram. So this is kind of where the Yellow Square started.
Oh, really?
And then when I posted it, I followed up in a message to her saying, I was so anti-algorithm in my bank.
I like that.
So that makes sense. Because everything that people would have advised you at that time would have been like, oh, like it has to be the camera, you have to do selfie for the algorithm, you have to have all these hooks, all this stuff. And I was like, no, I was just going to make it right. And again, it made it easy for me to do because it's like, it's just an iPad, Procreate, it's a free app. It's low stress. I can be anywhere. I can not have a haircut. I can, you know what I mean? I can have a cold like I do now. I could still publish if I wanted to.
Yeah. And it's also like, you know, a lot of most DJs I speak to are quite deep thinkers or have opinions. That was one of the personality types I was talking about, which is like the sort of the rebel. And what I mean by that is somebody who's willing to say something and not to like alienate people, go out of the way to alienate people, but to have an opinion on something.
Yep.
And I said, like, if you are like one of those people around your group of friends who has an opinion, feel free to say that. Be aware that you're going to get some backlash because you're saying something that you truly believe in. But the core audience you create from that will like ride or die for you because they see themselves, that you're saying what they want to say. Yeah. Like I say, it's not that you're going out and being like trying to bash people or anything like that. It's like, if that's your personality, like put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, so there's space and time for bashing people. Don't get twisted. I just choose not to do that. Like, I think, I try and take down ideologies that I think are like destructive. So like I've done that before with like 1Xtra or something like that, and that's general. So that no one can take that personally. It's more like, okay, this ideology is not serving the majority of the people, so let's take that down. So that's fine. In terms of like putting ideas or like points of view out there that are not like consensus yet, again, like you said, doing it with kindness and grace, there is like people do notice, especially if you're ahead of the curve. Anyone could say something that is like, reasonably popular now, but it's like when you're maybe a year ahead of something and people are like, ooh, I don't know about that, mate. There's creativity in that, and there's creativity in being able to make someone think about something that is already happening, but framing it in a way that is like really easy to digest. So there's loads of people. I mean, Instagram is great at that. You follow people and then they like break down something reasonably complex into something very easy to understand and shareable. And if you want to read more, look at more, then you've got a vessel to do that.
I agree.
You know what
I mean? Pirate radio.
Yep.
Something I have a love for. Was that the acid test for you as a DJ? Is that where you learned the skills and obviously being in clubs and playing in front of people? Because you was regular playing pirate radios in clubs in London. Is that something that you look like fondly on? And is that, I think about like a DJ in 2026, how can you replicate that similar experience?
Well, yeah, pirate radio for me, again, it was very local. It was at a time when there was no other option to listen to things in different places. Yeah. And there wasn't a lot of archive readily available. So I was listening to the radio and listening to what was happening at the same time. And there was also no recordings, or not a lot of recordings of what happened prior, unless you knew someone with tapes and people were recording like that. So whereas now you can listen to the whole history of pirate radio on YouTube. Yeah. So whereas I couldn't do that when I was growing up.
Sick.
So it gave you this kind of focus and like, okay, even the necessity of locking in certain periods of time. I mean, I think today like YouTube and Twitch, all those things are the equivalent But what I say to people is like getting into places where people are playing music, even as small, like, 20, 30 people or 10 people or 5 people, and going back to back with other DJs and using like the pirate radio ecosystem or the radio thing or whatever it is, or pirate studios or things like that as your way of bouncing off humans. Like, directly. Whereas, because I had both, I was in a very potent area for music in East London. That was like less of a necessity. But if you come from a smaller city or city where music isn't embedded in the same way, you have to make a lot of effort to get outside and connect with other people that are into the same shit as you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's super important.
Are you a fan of these, like, there's a lot of like pop-up, can you call them, like YouTube communities? So like, DJs playing in the loft or in like a cafe or a coffee shop, and they've got like a community around them, building up like a YouTube channel, and a lot of them now, they're doing well and now getting booked and have success off the back of these communities. Have you come across these?
Yeah,
what I'm talking about.
Like, I know what you're talking about. It's good. I don't have any like real pushback against it. It is like the new pirate radio. It is the new way of organizing. It is like a way of doing something with like 30 people or 20 people or 50 people, whatever it is, and it makes it feasible. Whereas like if you want to put on a club night and you need 200 minimum to make it like viable, then it eliminates a lot of ideas. So I do see like certain styles of music that, are very niche, that makes it like, okay, what makes it certain ideas viable. And at the end of the day, like, people are moving away from clubs, being out late, so whatever, health reasons, whatever it's going to be, and social reasons and access reasons, and anything that makes things more accessible for different kinds of people, I think it's good.
Yeah, I agree. I like it because there's in real life, it's happening from the back of it. So they're creating a community on YouTube, which is great. But then I've spoken to quite a lot of creators who are now like taking that out of the cafe or the bedroom and touring because they're getting an audience, which I think is cool. You've seen like, AG take to the streets and have that one-to-one interaction with people and do it that way. So I think pirate radio maybe is very much alive in just different segments.
Exactly.
Which is nice.
It's like, obviously it's smaller in the sense of like everyone's got smaller audiences.
Sure.
Maybe it's like the division of attention is a lot wider. But again, I think it's just like an opportunity to do ideas that we would have never done on radio and reach people that we would have never reached. Like, I was on Rinse in 2008 and it was like just when it began producing their own podcast and putting the sets online just straight after it had gone on air, which is just normal now. Yeah. And that was like an inflection point of my career, or DJ journey. It was like, people could listen everywhere, so we got to play everywhere. Yeah. But now there's music everywhere all the time. It's not necessarily going to be the same thing. Yeah.
It's interesting. I saw a news article the other day about how there was no like top 40 rap tracks in the Billboard top 100 for the first time in like 40 years or something. But then sub-article to that was there's so many sort of maybe rap artists or UK artists, American artists that are selling out shows because they've got, like you say, a smaller community, but they're just not seen on Spotify by wider public. But them diehard fans are still like locked in, and they've got smaller communities. But them smaller communities buy tickets.
You know what? Like with the rap thing and any kind of commercial thing, that's cope anyway. Sure. Ultimately, there's no hits, so there's no hits. Yeah, like you can have both. Like when there's hits, those people that are still selling small shows are still selling small shows. If you don't have hits, then the people are not going to be able to do the big ones. Yeah. So a lot of people that are like rap fans, they do the whole last 25 years of rap discourse has been like the numbers don't lie. Oh, no numbers lying now. It is. They are okay. Well then,
that's like, true, isn't it?
There's all it tells me is like there's people. The majority of consumption is somewhere else, and I think there's something worth acknowledging there for people that are fans of rap and commercial music. I don't really care. Like I kind of just like enjoy pushing back on like the mainstream narrative of things. You know?
Yeah. One of your squares is Friends Buy Tickets.
Friends Buy Tickets,
and really I've seen a lot of independent artists saying please buy this directly from, please buy this track directly from me.
Yeah.
Because there's no point me putting it on Spotify or one of the big ones.
Yeah.
And I've seen it like growing and growing and stuff like that. It doesn't take long for that just to become, you know, a bit of a movement or something, you know, and giving all of the stuff to the artist.
Yeah. I mean, the challenge for artists and musicians releasing things is, you know, it's so cheap. It's like £1. So you can't even buy coffee for £1.
Yeah, what I mean.
So I'm like, a single should be like the same price as a coffee. An EP should be the same price as a pint. An album should be the same price as a double and a Coke. You know what I mean? At least.
In London or in Leeds?
In London. Central London. Mayfair. Yeah, I'm being serious.
No,
it's
I
like,
agree.
it hasn't moved with inflation. And artists already like, well, I mean, I include myself in this. So we're in this position where obviously you want to get your work in front of the most people possible. And, you know, don't want to prohibit anyone from buying things. But at the same time, I put on events and invite people in spaces when you can see, okay, if the ticket is whatever, £5, £6, £7, £8, £10, and then the drink at the bar is like 12. You're like, well, why is Heineken making more money from this than me?
Fair.
You know what I'm saying? And I view me and the venue as on the same team. So I'm not like, oh, the venue's making all the money. More time, the venue is like struggling as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So I view us as on the same team. It's like us, the artists, and the venues, especially the independent ones, versus like policy, the government, and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the things, I'm like, man, everything, we're either gonna have to raise our prices or die.
Yeah.
You know, or both.
Yeah. when you had the label, you were managing quite a lot of artists at that time.
No, it was just like with the kind of core artists that we worked with. So
Sure.
Swindle, Royalty, DJ Q, Flavor D. That's calm.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't want to take on any more than that. I couldn't have handled it or done a good job with anyone else. Like, I mean, even this project is like me sharing my learning from what I was doing with them, and I'm not like, it's not like, you know, they're not like Tiesto or something.
Yeah.
It's just like very understandable stuff that people would be able to get. We're mostly involved in buying and selling. You know what I mean? It's not like that complicated.
Yeah. Well, now it's changed from your angle of, you know, trying marketing 2012, 2011 to marketing now.
Exactly. And now I'm not even a manager anymore.
Yeah, sure.
So like even what I kind of finished at the end of 2024, and I'd been a manager for 12 years. And you think, man, like that's a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
And now just getting into the end of 2025, it's like I've been doing my own project for a year. So now I also know what it feels like to just live off my own art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I would not recommend. Even though it's going, well, you know, I mean, you have to be a certain kind of, you have to be wired a certain kind of way to function like this. And I've just had the preparation for the last 15 years.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like, you know, talk about this amazing book. Like I said at the top, it's when you get into the DJ industry, the thing that might not, the thing that you really, 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 really want might not be the thing you really, really get. But along the way, amazing things can happen. Is that how you perceive this? It's just an extension of creativity that you've acquired over the years to put all your thought into.
Yeah, I mean,
or is it something that sort of happened and you just roll with it?
Yeah, a bit of both.
Yeah.
Like there's this kind of, like when I started it was like July 2021, it was the end of lockdown in the UK. I was just not sure what was going to happen next. Like, you know, things were opening up, but I hadn't seen anyone properly for like a year and a half.
Sure.
It was a very like tough time personally, professionally.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, let me just share everything that I feel like would be useful going forward, and whether I continue to participate with it was up in the air at that time. And then I continued, and then it got its traction. And the funny thing is, it's like I started, and then like that October, but I actually stopped. So I did it for like about 10 weeks or something.
Oh, okay.
And then I stopped for like nearly 3 months, and then I rebooted again in January 2022. So it nearly just ended in October, just because there was other things going on that was like really hard to balance and to deal with at the same time. So I just stopped, and it could have just been that would have been it. And then kind of over the Christmas period of 2021, I was just like kind of like just, I've got to push through. And and just commit to it for a year and see where we end up. And then by the end of that year, I was actually like really burnt out, but it got to a critical mass, and we're here now. Yeah.
Reminds me of that like image, you know, where the miners are like chipping away.
Yes.
Diamonds behind the
I've got it in my thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Funny enough, there's like the version of it where you're like in the thing where they're near the diamonds, but there's another version where there's all diamonds around you. So it's not like you're just nearly next to the diamonds. It's like above you, below you. It's like completely surrounding you.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe the beginning of my towards the beginning of my journey was like that, where there's all these options. You know, I could have maybe leaned into being a promoter more, done other kinds of music, or like managed other talent. There was just so much opportunity. I chose my lane and ended up where I ended up. And even now, I think that's happening again, where there's a lot of doors open at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, where am I gonna lean towards it? At the moment, I'm kind of on some sort of 5-pronged attack, but that's just that's temporary. There will be a point where I focus my energy in one place, but I'm not sure where it's going to be yet.
Are you just going gut with that, or are you trying to be more methodical about next steps?
I think there's always just going to be a space for like art and just unpredictability and just vibes and just like doing stuff for jokes. I think this is like still like a good space, but like whatever, that'll be like 10-20% of my time.
Sure.
And then like the rest of my time will be focused on like a particular job or like a particular directive. But at the moment, like I said, I'm just doing art and kind of playing around with these ideas and writing my books.
Yeah, like closing out Make the Ting is like, and there's a few quotes that's relative to it as well in the book, and like just eventually you just got to do some shit. There's so much. There's like, we're an education platform, so we need education to learn and get the basics down. And we met IMS, which is a great networking event I just done in Amsterdam, and again you're building tools and to like help you in your career, but there is a line, isn't there, of you just soaking in information without doing the thing.
Exactly. And there's obviously, I think my first like wave of education, like my secondary and college and university, I approached it with the wrong mindset. It was like, okay, I need to learn this to get a job. I didn't really have the joy in education. I had that in my own like personal time, but I never saw it as something that was like functional for, okay, I'm just trying to like work or something.
Yeah.
And then in my adult life, where I've had this space and time to obviously explore creativity, it's made me go back into like the basics of things as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've like self-educated all of the things properly that I wanted to learn in the first place that I just didn't think would be useful in the world of work, which is weird. It's like I've kind of like the yellow square effectively has been like uni part 2 or 3 even. Or like Butters was like uni part 2, like learning how to run a business and, you know, function with in the changing landscape. And then the pandemic was, I don't know what that was, but that was like uni of survival.
Yeah, survival of the fittest, yeah.
And then this has been like, okay, taking the things I've learned so far, knowing what to actually drop out, what doesn't apply anymore, and then what is still going to be true, say like in 2029, irrespective of what technology comes, what city you are in, what phone you have, what app you use, what do you think will still be true by the end of the decade? I don't think you can really see beyond that. Yeah.
It is. How do you, like, the book, for example, is like doing the thing. So how have you gone about it? And do you suggest that people like lock in, or do you sort of go in and out of like flows? Do you know what I mean? To get something done and something achieved. And we've got, you know, our main audience is DJs, producers. There'll be people wanting to just lock in and make a track. There'll be people who want to like post every day on social media. There'll be people who are just starting out, want to like do a course for 30 days.
Yeah.
Like, what's your sort of methodology in like, you know, finishing a book or, you know, a project to a whole?
Yeah, I guess I use what I call like the deep feedback loop. So it's like creating stuff that is like, I guess, simple enough to show people and share, seeing how people respond to it, and then I'm responding to the response. And And again, knowing what to filter, like sometimes I get like certain kinds of opinions. I'm like, okay, cool, this is an opinion I don't care about, or these people I'm not really listening to, or there's these threads that I'll post something about, say, whatever, rent, and then someone will give me a book to read. Okay, that's something like another bit of layers to scratch at. So it's like having enough kind of back and forth between me and the work and me and the audience and me and the world. Like there's enough like contact points of reality. You know what I mean? Whereas obviously, again, it's like my friends in academia, it's like the problem with like a lot of the work is it sits in the walls of the university. So you might be creating something or writing something, you do your research, and then it's a dissertation, 20,000 words, and then it sits on the shelf at university. Never gets seen by anyone, never gets read by anyone. It's like, well, how useful is that to anyone? You've done all this work, when actually the dissertation could be the book, or the dissertation could be Barters of the label, it could be a radio show, it could be your club night, it could be, it has to have some sort of like contact with reality. So I think that's like super important. And like the, you know, make the ting and all of that was, you know, my frustration sometimes with, this is not necessarily like the people I work with, it was more like we get stuck in these like thinking about things too much, and then you don't realize, okay, the world is moving at this is a virtual abloco actually, it's like the world is moving at the speed of the Instagram scroll. You're working on your album for 2, 3, 4 years. It's like, well, that's different like world. 4 prime ministers ago. So what are you really saying that needs to hit, you know, 4 years later? You just make it harder for yourself. And, you know, a lot of these projects, I think, okay, can I make something really quickly, or that something, not even quickly in terms of speed, but just getting the core of the idea out, and then make many things under that kind of framework, rather than just being like, this idea is going to take 2 years to do. It's like, all right, well, so it just makes everything more risky and less fun to be, at least. Yeah.
There's also a thing where like, if you're creating something new, or you're trying to build something, you know, a lot of people hate rejection, and people hate no's, or even worse, like a non-reply. But I always say to people, like, if you're trying to create something new, or starting something new, or leading into a new project, nobody's watching at the beginning, like nobody's listening. Yeah. So that's the time to,
I mean, even no one's watching me, like I've got an audience, but like, it's like grand scheme of things, like you don't think about me.
Yeah. In Instagram, when you come across something, and you sort of,
but outside of that, you're like when you're walking here today, you don't think about me. You know what I'm saying? Like no one, everyone's just thinking about themselves or their like immediate surroundings, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's the crutch of a lot of creative people who are afraid to click publish or lead. I've had this idea for a book, or I've had this idea for this track, and I don't want to, finish this track, but I don't want to. I want to send it to a friend instead of like putting it on SoundCloud, because I'm afraid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it is. You need to get out your own way sometimes to make the thing, to finish the project,
or just to start. Like I'm not even sure. You know, a couple of times I thought the project was finished, and then it just keeps pulling me back in. So I'm like, okay, the most important thing actually was just going and having like a minimum viable idea, product thing rolling, and then you can build on it. You know what I'm saying? Like the book is not my magnum opus here. This is just the collection of ideas from 2021 to 2024, and like now I'm building on it. I'm like, oh shit, like maybe I can have like a little update in a few years time, or whatever it's going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like there'll be further development of some of the ideas in the book. Yeah. So if I didn't do the ideas in the first place, then it wouldn't be the secondary one. So it's like kind of chicken and egg here.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, I was I've done a couple of talks this year, and people are always very interested in the intersection of a DJ sort of becoming an artist. When do things happen for somebody? Like, when do they know they made it? And I think back to like my own career. I sort of went viral doing like these master videos on Facebook, like around 2017, 2018, and they were doing crazy numbers of like millions and millions. So I was touring, doing like the Pi Islands, Bifa, Dubai.
Sick.
And then what happened then is like I was doing all my own bookings, and then agents would reach out to me and they wanted to like represent me. And I've seen this agents don't get you bookings quote. And a few people have asked me like in talks of like, you know, when do I need a manager? When do I need like an agent or something? I'm like, you will know. You will.
You get a manager when you can't manage.
Yeah. And also you need a lot of money for that. You need to be able to pay someone. But I wonder if you, in your experience, because you've been obviously in the management side of it.
Yeah.
I guess what is it that an artist would need a manager for in sort of layman's terms? That's not the day to day, I guess.
Well, like, yeah, just in most simple terms, I'll just say, like, artists that want to have a commercial end to what they do, the person would be like managing the business of their artistry.
Yeah.
And some people have like a kind of conflict with, you know, art versus commerce.
Yeah.
And I think once you get a team in place, you need to have a kind of very clear distinction of what that thing is. Like, okay, what you're doing, why, what your limit is, what you won't do, and what maybe the upside is for someone working with you on it. So if you're like very, say, anti-commercial, or you don't want to tour, or you don't want to do certain things, okay, that's fine as a limitation. But then how is someone going to build a business around you?
Yeah.
And how are they going to make a living working with you? What's in it for them? You know? So most of the time, you know, I'm speaking from the other side of the coin here, the manager side. If an artist was approaching a manager, I'd be like, okay, this is the kind of business I want to build out of my artistry. I think you could build it with me because you have these skills and this network and this thing. And do you know what I mean? Whereas most of the time it gets approached as the manager coming to them, and the manager wanted to build an artist business for them. I'm like, okay. What kind of, if you're a smart person and very resourceful, why are you going to build someone else's business for 20%? Why would you do that for?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a great way to look at it, I think.
That's not a downplay of managers. Again, I see that as they're also my people.
Yeah.
Like, but it's more like that there's not like a kind of equality in terms of work or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's really hard to find the right fit. And that's why you hear so many horror stories. And I don't think it's just because, like, you know, one side is bad and one side is good. It's because the roles are so different. The kind of skill set, the communication that you need, the trust that you need is so deep that beyond a marriage, that's like the next thing.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah. No.
I don't know where to start with that.
You know, I totally resonate, and I've spoke to all these podcasts about DJs that are doing 2, 3, 4 million monthly streams, and they're managing themselves because they can't have that relationship, and a lot of people find it more beneficial. And I think people do get misconstrued in like agents and managers. Like agents, somebody who represents and goes and actively gets you bookings, and it's more transactional.
So like the line agents don't get you bookings was deliberately provocative. I have an agent, like I respect the infrastructure around agency.
Sure.
But there's a good word in that agency. It's like the agency on yourself to get things done, to make business for yourself is what an agent is capitalizing on and trying to expand on. So it's not you join agency, then agent goes, hey, we've got X DJ, they will give you 100 bookings and just make you a star.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have something for sale that people want, and the agent is going to leverage that for you. And people get twisted and they think they can do what they can do. Like ultimately, they can't sell something that people don't want to buy. And when you are represented by an agent, you fully become a product. And that's really hard to adjust to as a human in life. Like I'm kind of used to it now. But like there's parts of me that just do not enjoy that. And that's why I don't do certain things and don't push myself in certain ways, because the productization of my personhood is like so weird to me. I couldn't do that all the time. Some people can completely dial out, they switch it off. It's fine. But maybe because I did a lot of that kind of stuff pre-2020, it's like, fine, I'll take it. And some of it I just need to do to further the ideas.
Yeah.
But being for sale all the time again, it takes a special kind of like wiring to be able to do that.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I found it as well. It's kind of like, I think when you're maybe like younger or just a beginner or getting into it, having an agent seems such like a flex or like a cool thing. But all of a sudden, there's pressure to do something, like someone's asking you, there's someone else's, not mouth to feed, but there's this sort of pressure that's niggling away at you, that you now have to like perform even more. It's like if the work sort of begins, and as what I found, it's like, oh shit, this is serious.
Yeah, it's like having a mortgage, isn't it? It's like kind of like a commitment to professionalizing yourself. And again, it's not like, okay, you get an agent because, all right, cool, and now you're getting booked. That also means that you're beholden to a promoter. Okay, they want their tickets sold. The club wants their drinks sold. People want their t-shirt. I mean, it's endless. Festivals want their announcements at their particular time. So it's not that you just become a performing product. You become like a sales product for all the other things that you're adjacent to. So what DJs don't really think about that much. They think about the performing aspect of what their work is and their craft. They're making songs and whatever it is, whatever else they're doing. But how you're actually making money is, selling tickets and alcohol and the associated products. And this is not hard. This is easy to dial out of if you can afford to pay someone to do all that for you, and it's still effective. But for the most part, it needs to come from you because you're the one that's in it and living it and going to be experiencing it. And people can sense when it's coming from someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
Most people that listen to it are not going to be at the scale where they can pay someone else to do it for them. And I would advise against that in general, no matter the size you are.
Yeah, I agree. Would you not advise, but would you suggest that more DJs and artists should write? Because I mentioned to you before we turned on the cameras, and I took so much like inspiration from these quotes and these squares, because you can perceive them in many different ways. And we make a lot of content, and we try to provide like education around DJing and production, and just sparking ideas out, seeing things written down connects with different ideas in your brain.
Yep.
And I think as a DJ, you want to pick up a controller, you want to listen, play music. If you're on Ableton, you want to open up and drag some drums. Do you think because it's something that I only done later in life, is write things down, and it's like unlock something.
Yeah.
As you obviously
people say the second brain, isn't it? It's like
second brain, the second brain,
yeah. I mean, more than anything, I mean, I'll just start with reading first. For most people, it's like, okay, writing and reading, whichever one you're gonna do first, just do both of them. And it's very rare that I come up with something that has not been explored before. You know what I mean? Or if I have phrased it in a certain way, there'll be something that has phrased it in a different way before. So like René, the creative director, is one where I've just compressed an issue that has existed for 30 years into something. And then I'll read an old book. I'm like, oh yeah, they're talking about it here, but it's just phrased in a different way. And there's sometimes where I will post something and then people say, oh, have you read this by this person? I'm like, I know, I feel kind of silly because I should have read that thing. Yeah. And they're speaking about the same thing, or they're speaking about something in the same direction. It's obviously contemporary issues that I can say, like AI and AI music in cafes or something. That's like a contemporary issue. There's not probably a lot of published writing about that. Yeah. But for most other things, again, because I'm trying to keep it these threads open enough to be still relevant in 2029 or 2030, whatever it's going to be, whatever your cut-off point is. Yeah. There will be something that has been written about before. But yeah.
100%. This one. There aren't enough DJs.
Yes, there aren't enough DJs.
There aren't enough DJs, and also you've got if you love music, you should learn how to DJ, right?
That's right.
Two things sort of go hand in hand. From your perspective, when you sort of wrote them, or you've lectured and expanded on the idea, what is your thought process on that? Okay,
so most people don't have like a tangible relationship with music. They just listen to what's on the radio, what's on their streaming service, whatever's on the playlist, the hits. If more people have a tangible relationship with music, so buying making playlists, mixing, all of these things, then the music space is better. More people want people to buy their music. What logic is there in someone buying an MP3 if they're not going to be, you know, putting it on their USB and DJing it? So this is expanding the like customer base for music, digital and physical. And like just in terms of another participation layer of enjoying music, think of the comparison of again, like running the Run Club. What is the equivalent of like a music club? Yeah, I guess so, the nightclub. But again, that's a very limited kind of group of people that will do that. Concerts, maybe people are going to once or twice a year. Festivals, maybe once a year if you're lucky. So, but this is something that can be in someone's house every single day. So you can have, again, you could have a tangible relationship with music 250 days of the year instead of being an onlooker 4, 5 or 6 days of the year. You know what I mean? When you go to an Oasis concert and a festival and a club night for your friend's birthday. Another kind of analogy I like to use, a couple of people have used it before on Twitter. So apologies if I'm not citing the right people, but if you looked at, say, the sales of a controller, DJ controller, CDJs, or any variation of that versus the PS5, I don't know how many like units the PS5 or like a games console will do in its lifetime. Maybe like, I think the PS4 is like 100 million units. So if controllers did up to 100 million units or beyond that, what would DJ culture or what music culture be like? Would there be more of a healthy space? Would it be? It's not going to be 100 million people competing over a gig at Fabric. That's not what we're doing here. It's 100 million people directly engaging with music themselves. Like we wouldn't even know that they exist. It's like the bedroom DJ, but
on steroids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, giga bedroom DJ culture. But again, that's one limit. Okay, 100 million is the PS5, perhaps. Yeah, so PS5s only really sell in Europe, North America, and Asia. Okay, which should we take it even further? If you went to if the controller was as prevalent as like the smartphone, where do you get to then? Do you get to like 2 billion? What would music participation be then at that level? What happens if, okay, we have these controllers that are as ubiquitous as like a smartphone or dumb phone or whatever, and they're in villages, places with low power, low internet access. What does that change? Don't know. That'd be kind of interesting. Well, it's different to today.
Yeah.
And I think there's like it's just as interesting as a thought exercise, and it's a provocative enough title to make people respond negatively. So I'm like, of course you're going to dive in and say, there's too many DJs. And of course you're not. Like, people just see it and see red. And that's why I wrote it in that way. Because I just know how, if you want to wind up anyone on the internet, DJs,
man.
Easy pickings.
So easy.
Yeah. So, and like, I've really enjoyed, when sometimes when people send me abuse and stuff, and I think, okay, this, it's like it's just showing that, to me, if we're in a creative space, why can't we look at everything creatively?
I agree.
And that's all it is. It's just a creative exercise.
I agree. I did a post last week. I was on a podcast, and one of the clips was that I don't particularly like seeing DJs post flyers like all the time on the feed. You go and it's just like flyers everywhere. People fucking hate that. And you go on their profile, I've got like 100 followers, no engagement. And I'm like, I'm talking about trying to grow an audience, like, but I don't want to see it. But obviously you get people who you sort of attacking their thought process. But as you were talking there, I was thinking about when I was in Amsterdam, someone in my talk at the end, we did a Q&A. Someone asked, was like, are you sort of concerned about the DJs becoming a meme because everybody's wanting to be a DJ? And he's like, do you think the bubble's going to burst? And I was like, I don't know what the bubble is in growth.
People that think there's a bubble are in the bubble. Yeah. There isn't, like, when people say there's too many DJs or everyone I know is a DJ, it's like you're showing yourself to be in the bubble. Because like, I am around DJs sometimes, and then I'll just go and do something else, and then no one's a DJ, and they're like fascinated that you're like, oh, like what? Like tell me more. Where do you play that? Like there's so if you, it's the same thing when people say, oh, like dance music is bigger than ever. I'm like, if you think this, you're just in a bubble. Like you're showing, okay, you probably follow 100 DJs on Instagram, so all you getting served is DJ content, or you're on YouTube, you follow thousands of dance music pages. Of course, it feels like all encompassing.
This is the world.
Yeah, but again, if you scroll your other friends' feeds, it probably doesn't look like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think again, it would be a good creative exercise for people. And I wish Instagram actually did this, would allow you to scroll other people's feeds. So you could, someone could tap into the people that I follow and just see what it's like to go through my feed.
Yeah.
And then you would see, well, I am in the community of DJs. That's one of the communities I'm part of, and something I engage in regularly. But it's not like I don't feel like everyone is always talking about something.
Yeah.
And that is like really like important to dial out and present new ideas. So sometimes if there's a big conversation, I miss it because I'm not in the thing. Yeah. And my app is closed. I'm whatever, I'm with my family doing stuff. So, you know, yeah, you don't want to be trapped in the echo chamber at no benefit for you. If you're trapped in the echo chamber and you're having a nice time and making money and doing everything, you're fine. But for the most part, when we talk about echo chambers, it's people not having a good time.
Yeah, and not as eloquently. I sort of shared a similar viewpoint, and I was like, because we are in it, I feel like everyone's talking about us, and let me tell you, nobody is. In the wider world, if you go speak to like my auntie and my mum, like they're out doing live stuff.
Yeah, not even like just peers, age mates. Yeah. You know, someone that's just working their 9 to 5, turns on the radio on the way to work, goes home, makes spaghetti bolognese, turns on the TV, watches whatever the one show, the news. That's
also me. Like I talk about DJing all day. And then when I go and pick my kid up from school, when I go home, I don't think about DJing at all. Exactly. I don't really want to. Do you know what I mean?
So it's like having that balance in it, and
trying to get people to expand their thing. I think actually expanding the thinking is maybe a good thing. If you are so encompassed by production and DJing, a great thing you can do is go and read a book about something else.
Yeah, because you're just getting other ideas, isn't it?
Exactly, 100%. Because if you're watching, you know, James Hype teach you a loop tutorial for the 50th time. Yeah, you probably just
you can't surpass those ideas that have already been done as well. Yeah. So it's like, I think all these things are useful. Like it's good to know how all the buttons work, but you have to find like how to use the buttons with other like mediums in life. I'm saying, and other ideas. And sometimes when I listen to artists talk about what their inspiration is behind something, it comes from like the strangest places. You know, it's not often you'll hear like a DJ say, "Oh, I did this trick because I saw another DJ do it." Yeah, that might have been like a spark for something, but then they'll be like, "Oh, actually, I was watching SpongeBob SquarePants, and then I heard this sound, and I thought, oh, I could recreate that sound using pitching the thing down and using the loop, but like that because it came from SpongeBob instead of." Whatever, like DJ tutorial, you know what I'm saying? And finding different things to like look at and be like, oh shit, like even with, like I have that with writing. I think like music journalism got trapped in literally like just writing about music on websites. Sure. And I think this is a very limited way of viewing music journalism. Music journalism is like what we're doing now. It's like talking about music. Music journalism is DJing, like playing to people and getting live feedback. Music journalism is collecting and buying. Music journalism is even, the yellow square, the ideas, the comment section. Music journalism is like what Derek G does, interviewing artists and bringing like their selections to the forefront when talking about music. It's many things, but it got reduced to this like narrow frame of like basically what the people in magazines used to do, but on the internet. When the internet gives you all this further opportunity to explore these other mediums and territories. And now I see people doing it and blowing up, and the previous generation of music journalists, no, that's not real music journalism. I'm like, it might not be real to you, but it is real to all the people enjoying it and taking something from it. And when people say my work is in music journalism, I'm like, this is more music journalism than music journalism. Like, what else can it be? Like,
music journalism squared, bro.
Yeah, but squared, exactly. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Facts, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
That resonates so much. Coming back full circle then to the AlphaTheta project. We'll put it up on screen. On the front of it, it says, if you love music, you should learn to DJ. Is that on us?
Yeah,
is that what's on it, right?
Yeah,
around the
side,
bottom.
yeah.
It's got like a pull-up sign on it as well.
Yeah.
So how has that come about? You mentioned it was out in IMS when the first idea came to life, and then how long has the process been? What's the what goes into development? Like, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm not interested in telling anyone how the sausage is made, but like,
sure.
I think in general, in terms of opportunities and ideas, sometimes if someone presents you with something, you just gotta ask, like, for the dream scenario, and go from there. And this was the dream scenario for me. I was like, can we do this? And then this come together.
Really?
So yeah, I guess the last detail on the actual product was the pull-up arrow. I looked at it. I was just staring at it in design for a minute, maybe like a week, 2 weeks. I think I was late submitting it, and I was like, it's missing something. And then I just thought, what would make it me? What, like, if you don't know the yellow square thing, what makes it like just a bit weird, like a bit. And yeah, even the Virgil Abloh thing, like, he hit the quotation marks were like a kind of like a irony or sense of humor. And I was like, okay, what is my like sense of humor, or like my character, or something that is in my culture that is gonna sit with it.
Like,
yeah,
if you know it, you know it.
And then I drew the arrow and put pull up with the exclamation. I was like, okay, now it's complete. And I was like, I didn't even draw it twice. It's not a perfect arrow or anything like that. It was just like the instinctive, like, bam, wrote it, and then I just put it on there. I was like, okay, it looks kind of janky, but that's, if I just drew it on a piece of paper, that's how it'd look. And now that the thing is going to be seen out of context, like, that's the first, like, imagine if you don't know the work, and people see that, you're like, oh, what's that? And then someone can be like, oh, this connected to this Instagram project or this book or this other work that I've done. And then it's like, oh, it kind of all makes sense together. So I just wanted to have something that isolated looks kind of cool. But then when you see it connected to the other work, you're like, oh man, like, and I even had the drawing of, the yellow, or I had drawing of the decks, but with like, a CDJ, a mixer, and a piece of like a book. So like oscillating between being a DJ and a writer, between, if you think the crossfader between idea and songs. And I was like, that's it in the flesh. And I think it's, it's good for DJs and artists and whatever people are making stuff. It's like the communication is always the same. It's like, excited to announce I'm playing this night, excited to drop my EP.
Big things coming.
Big things coming, mix it out soon. Yeah.
Announcement of an announcement.
Yeah, I love house music, all of the cliches, I'm saying, something for algorithm. And it's like, every once in a while, just having something that is just gonna break the monotony of that kind of thing, and give, like, whether people buy it or not, it's like give people another canvas, another set of ideas. Like, oh yeah, maybe we should do our own sound system, or we should, maybe make a piece of music equipment. Maybe we should decorate a room in a certain way. Maybe we always use these stairs. Like, how can we make this, like, there's all these canvases,
breaking it down.
Yeah, in life and in our environments. It's just like finding ways to use them in a creative way. So yeah, I'm really proud of it, and hopefully the product will be in people's houses and with people's positions for as long as there's electricity and plugs.
What is the sort of goal for the controller? Is it limited run? And
yeah, so it's a limited run, and we'll see
how it goes.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah, it's sick, man. Like, congratulations. I do think it is important. Like, it breaks the idea that a product has to be mass market to have any sort of sustainability. It's for the biggest brand or big brand to back it, I think opens ideas across the board for everybody. There's no like sort of limits to it.
Exactly.
I think that I've actually spoken quite recently about how DJing, and we've talked about DJing becoming a lot more personal, because you can go so many ways with it. It has to be like from you, and if you can find more one-off bespoke products that are technology as well as like, you know, me making a track or whatever, I think that can only benefit the DJ community as it grows.
100%.
And if we get to the PlayStation numbers, I guarantee that will happen. And it might be like a moment in time for it. So congratulations with it, mate.
Thank you,
it's
man.
so excited. I do need to get my hands on one. So I'll reach out to AlphaTheta and beg. Thanks for coming up, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
The
Thank
book
you for
it's
the time.
been out for a while. You can get it on Amazon and good bookshops. I'm guessing it's still out on bookshops or Amazon.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
It's called Close the App Made a Ting, but legend, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks, bro. Cheers, mate.